Welcome everyone to another exciting journey into the fascinating world of rare coins and valuable treasures, where today we dive deep into one of the most surprising and intriguing stories in modern coin collecting history, the tale of the 1992 1-cent coin that, despite having a face value of just 1 cent, has been known to sell for an incredible $216, all because of a combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, and rare variations that make it a highly sought-after piece among collectors and investors alike. And as we explore this amazing coin together, we will uncover exactly what makes it so valuable, why errors from this year are special, how to identify them, and the possibilities of finding one in your pocket change even today. So buckle up as we begin by setting the scene in the early 1990s, when the United States Mint was transitioning between designs, equipment, and processes that led to some very unusual results. For the 1992 penny, the standard design featured the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and the profile portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the mint producing billions of these coins for circulation. But among these billions, there were certain coins struck with subtle yet highly important differences, one of the most famous being the 1992 close AM variety, where the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse was much closer than normal, a design intended for proof coins but accidentally used on some business strikes at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. And while this difference may seem minor to the untrained eye, for numismatists it represents a significant error, the kind of rarity that instantly elevates a common coin into a collector's dream. But that's not the only thing that can make a 1992 penny worth $216 or even more, because other error types from this year can include off-center strikes where the design is misaligned, broad strikes where the rim is missing because the coin was struck outside of the retaining collar, double dies where parts of the design appear double due to a misalignment in the die during the hubbing process, die cracks and die breaks which can create dramatic raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin, and even clipped planches where a portion of the coin's metal is missing from the edge due to an error during the blank cutting stage. Each of these errors tells a story of mechanical imperfection at the mint, and each has its own appeal and rarity factor that contributes to the coin's value. In the case of the 1992 penny, the close AM variety is by far the most well-known and valuable, but its worth can increase significantly if combined with other errors. For example, a 1992 close AM penny with a double die obverse could be worth far more than $216, and the condition of the coin, often graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, plays a huge role in determining its final market price. Coins in higher grades with full mint luster, minimal contact marks, and sharp strikes will always fetch a premium compared to those with heavy wear. Yet even a circulated 1992 close AM can be worth hundreds of dollars simply due to its scarcity. What's especially fascinating about this era is how it happened, because in 1993 the mint officially adopted the close AM design for all circulation pennies. But in 1992 that reverse was only supposed to appear on proof coins minted in San Francisco. Somehow, dies intended for proof coinage made their way into the production line for regular circulation pennies, leading to this rare crossover variety. The fact that it occurred at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints only adds to the mystery and intrigue, and to date only a small number of examples have been confirmed, making it a true modern rarity. And when you think about it, the thrill of discovering such a coin is what drives so many people into coin hunting, because somewhere out there in a jar of pennies, in a cash register, or tucked away in an old collection, there could be a tiny copper-plated zinc coin that turns out to be worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. Beyond the close AM, collectors also look for other 1992 pennies with unusual features like partial collar strikes where part of the rim is missing, rotated dies where the reverse design is turned relative to the obverse, and cut errors where a piece of the die breaks away leaving a blob-like raised area on the coin. All of these can increase value depending on severity and eye appeal, and while $216 is a typical price for a circulated close AM, uncirculated examples in top grades have sold for several times that amount, and error combinations or unique specimens can push prices even higher. The market for such coins is strong because they bridge the gap between traditional error collectors and variety specialists, appealing to both groups, and the fact that it's from a relatively recent year means many collectors feel they still have a shot at finding one without spending a fortune on older rarities. Now if we think about the sheer number of pennies produced in 1992, billions, versus the tiny fraction that contained these valuable errors, it's like searching for a needle in a haystack. But the possibility, however small, makes every penny worth checking. The key to spotting a close AM is to carefully examine the reverse under magnification, noting the spacing between the A and M, as well as the style of the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial, which are also slightly different between the wide AM and close AM varieties. For other errors like double dies, you'll want to look for doubling on the date, lettering, or Lincoln's features, while off-center strikes will be obvious by the missing parts of the design. The beauty of collecting such coins is that even if you don't find the exact $216 variety, you may still uncover other errors worth keeping, and as demand continues to grow for modern varieties, especially those with an interesting backstory, prices could climb further in the future, making the 1992 penny not only a piece of numismatic history but also a potential investment. Many seasoned collectors recall the first time they discovered a close AM or another dramatic error, describing the excitement as a mix of disbelief and joy, because holding in your hand a coin that is both a product of chance and a piece of history is something truly special. And for beginners, learning to spot these differences can be the start of a lifelong hobby, one that combines history, art, and the thrill of treasure hunting. It's worth noting that while the $216 price tag may be the average for certain examples, auctions have shown that rare varieties in exceptional condition can go for much more, sometimes even into the thousands for pristine specimens, and with the right buyer, unique error combinations can command extraordinary premiums. So whether you're a casual coin hunter checking change or a dedicated numismatist searching through rolls, the 1992 penny offers one of the most exciting opportunities of the modern era, reminding us that even in our everyday transactions, history and rarity can be hiding in plain sight, and that's why understanding its errors, mistakes, and possibilities is so important, because every detail matters, every mark tells a story, and every collector dreams of finding that one special coin that turns an ordinary day into an extraordinary discovery. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass handy, and your curiosity alive, because the next 1992 penny you come across might just be the one worth $216 or more, a small piece of copper-plated zinc carrying a story, a mistake, and a value far beyond its humble face value. And if you've enjoyed learning about this remarkable coin, the thrill of the hunt, and the history behind minting mishaps that create treasures from everyday objects, then be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another deep dive into the world of rare coins and the hidden fortunes waiting to be found in your pocket change. Next! Today we're going to explore the story of the 1999 1-cent coin, a humble Lincoln cent that in some cases has been known to fetch an impressive $172 because of its remarkable errors, striking anomalies, and unique production quirks that make it highly sought after in numismatic circles. And as we begin, it's important to remember that coin collecting is not just about age or rarity in terms of mintage numbers, but about the quirks and imperfections that set certain pieces apart from millions of otherwise ordinary examples, and the 1999 1-cent coin is a perfect example of how a small deviation during the minting process can result in a huge jump in value, turning a coin that might have been used to buy a stick of gum into a treasure worthy of careful preservation. And to fully understand why this particular year and denomination can command such a premium, we need to look closely at the context in which these coins were minted, the manufacturing processes involved, and the types of errors and varieties that have been discovered over time, starting with the basic design, as the obverse still featured the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, a design that had been in use since 1909 and remained largely unchanged except for occasional subtle modifications, while the reverse in 1999 still bore the Lincoln Memorial design created by Frank Gasparo, which had been in circulation since 1959. But what makes certain 1999 cents special is not the design itself, rather it's the way that design was struck, the condition of the dies, the planchets, and the minting machinery at that time. And here's where things get intriguing, because in the late 1990s, the US Mint was still producing billions of Lincoln cents each year, mostly in copper-plated zinc form, but the huge volume meant that occasional quality control issues slipped through, resulting in misalignments, doubling, cuds, die cracks, plating bubbles, and even wrong planchette strikes that are now the stuff of legend among collectors. And one of the most talked about 1999 varieties is the close AM and wide AM reverse spacing errors, where the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse differs from the intended design. And for 1999, that wide AM reverse, which should only appear on proof coins struck in San Francisco, somehow appeared on a small number of business strikes from the Philadelphia Mint, instantly creating a collectible Variety, because collectors love a mix-up, and these wide AM business strikes are scarce, with sharp-eyed searchers combing through change and bank rolls hoping to spot the telltale gap between those two letters. And while not every wide AM 1999 cent will sell for $172, high-grade examples in mint state or even in certified conditions can reach or exceed that figure depending on demand, condition, and market trends. But the fun doesn't stop there, because 1999 cents also come with a variety of dramatic die cracks, particularly on Lincoln's portrait and in the reverse columns of the memorial. And while die cracks might sound minor, when they're large enough to be noticeable, they can form raised lines or even blob-like shapes known as cuds, which are small areas of the coin where the die broke away entirely, leaving a missing section of the design that was instead filled with metal during the strike. And dramatic cuds on a 1999 cent can send collectors into bidding wars, especially when they appear in prominent spots like on Lincoln's head or along the rim. And another intriguing error found on 1999 cents is off-center strikes, which occur when the planchette isn't seated properly between the dies and the coin is struck with the design partially missing, leaving a blank crescent of unstruck metal. And the degree of the off-center strike affects value, with more extreme examples being more desirable, especially if the date remains fully visible, which is key for authenticity and desirability. And then there's the matter of double dies, particularly those that show doubling on the date, the word liberty, or of In God We Trust. And while not every doubling is a true double die, some are simply mechanical doubling caused by die bounce or shift. True double dies are created during the die-making process and are considered genuine mint errors, often commanding significant premiums. And in 1999, a few examples of double dies have been confirmed by grading companies, further adding to the mystique of that year's production. And even something as subtle as plating blisters, small raised bumps caused by trapped gases under the copper plating of the zinc core, can be of interest when they form unusual patterns or appear in significant clusters, sometimes resembling shapes or even letters, which fascinates collectors and gives each era coin a unique fingerprint. And there's also the rare but captivating scenario of a 1999 cent being struck on the wrong planchette, such as a dime planchette or a foreign coin planchette intended for another country's currency, which can occur if leftover blanks from previous runs are accidentally fed into the presses, resulting in undersized coins with incomplete designs and wildly different weights from the standard 2.5 grams for a copper-plated zinc cent. And such wrong planchette errors are extremely scarce, often commanding hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But even minor striking anomalies, like broad strikes without a collar, where the metal spreads out beyond the normal diameter, or misaligned die strikes where one side of the coin is perfectly centered but the other is shifted, can generate significant collector interest, especially when found in excellent condition. And speaking of condition, this is perhaps the single most important factor when determining if a 1999 cent will be worth the much talked about $172, because even the rarest variety can lose much of its market appeal if it's heavily circulated, scratched, or corroded, whereas a pristine example with full original luster and no visible wear can bring top dollar, especially if graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. And it's also worth noting that collector demand plays a big role in price, meaning that certain errors or varieties can spike in value when they're the subject of popular coin hunting videos or articles, as more people become aware of them and start looking, driving up competition for the few available examples. And this cycle of discovery, demand, and scarcity is exactly what keeps the hobby alive and exciting, because at any given moment, someone out there might be holding a coin worth far more than face value without realizing it. So the thrill of searching through pocket change or inherited coin jars never really fades. And in the case of the 1999 cent, its appeal is further boosted by the fact that it's relatively modern, meaning that examples can still be found in circulation if you're lucky, making it a perfect target for beginners and seasoned collectors alike. And whether it's a wide AM variety, a dramatic cud, a crisp double die, or an extreme off-center strike, each discovery tells a story about the minting process, the mechanical realities of high-speed coin production, and the human element in catching or missing these anomalies. And for some, that story is worth far more than the $172 price tag, because it's a tangible link between ordinary commerce and the unpredictable quirks of manufacturing. And so if you ever find yourself holding a 1999 1-cent coin, take a moment to really look at it, study the lettering, spacing, alignment, and surfaces, because you might just be looking at a tiny piece of numismatic history hiding in plain sight. And with patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck, You could turn that single cent into a valuable addition to your collection or even a profitable sale, proving once again that in the world of coins, it pays to pay attention. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass handy, and your curiosity alive, because the next big find could be jingling in your pocket right now. And if you've enjoyed this deep exploration of the 1999 1 cent's hidden potential and the fascinating errors that make it such a standout in the coin collecting community, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more discoveries, and stay tuned for the next journey into the world of valuable coins where history, art, and chance collide in the palm of your hand. Today we are focusing on a very special piece that many people overlook, yet it holds an incredible story, the 2017 A.D. Lincoln 1 cent coin, a humble penny minted in Denver that, under normal circumstances, would be worth just its face value of 1 cent, but due to certain rare errors and mistakes during production, some examples of this coin can command prices as high as $65 in the numismatic market, a surprising leap in value that makes it a sought-after piece among collectors, enthusiasts, and even casual hobbyists who understand the importance of spotting these valuable details. So let's embark on this in-depth journey exploring what exactly makes this coin so special, how these errors occur, what varieties exist, and why they are so prized, starting with the context of the 2017 D penny itself, which is part of the Lincoln Shield reverse design series introduced in 2010, replacing the Lincoln bicentennial designs, featuring the bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and a modern shield on the reverse symbolizing unity and strength, struck primarily in copper-plated zinc composition, which has been standard since 1982. Unlike most modern pennies, millions were produced at the Denver Mint, making it a very common coin at first glance. However, when minting millions of coins, even with advanced technology, mistakes happen, and it is these mistakes, known as mint errors or varieties, that create value, some due to mechanical issues, some due to human oversight, and some due to anomalies in the planchet, die, or striking process. So in the case of the 2017 D 1 cent coin, there are several categories of errors that have been documented and prized by collectors, starting with die errors like double dies, where certain design elements such as the date, mint mark, or letters show a noticeable doubling effect caused by misalignment during the hubbing process of the die. This can appear on Lincoln's eye, lips, or the shield details, and in strong cases the doubling is visible without magnification, making the coin immediately appealing. Then we have die cracks and die chips, which occur as the working dies age and develop fractures, leading to raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the struck coin, sometimes appearing on Lincoln's head, along the rim, or within the shield's vertical lines. These imperfections may not seem dramatic, but certain shapes, like a chip on Lincoln's head resembling a cud, or an extra blob on the shield, can be highly collectible, especially if prominent and in an unusual location. Next are off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly seated in the collar during striking, causing part of the design to be missing and a blank crescent of planchet to be visible. The more off-center it is while still showing the date and mint mark, the higher the value. Then we have broad strikes, where the collar fails to engage properly and the coin spreads outwards, giving it a wider diameter and distorted rim, also related. A misaligned die strikes, where one die strikes slightly off, creating uneven margins or tilted designs. Another error type is the clipped planchet, where part of the blank metal disc is missing before striking due to a misfeed in the punching process, resulting in a coin with a curved or straight clip on the edge. In some cases, multiple clips can occur, making the coin even rarer. And then there are striking errors like multiple strikes, where the coin is struck more than once, either in or out of the collar, leading to overlapping images, or brokerage errors, where a previously struck coin sticks to the die and impresses its mirrored image onto the next blank. Planchet errors also add value, such as wrong planchet strikes, where a penny design is struck on a planchet meant for another denomination like a dime or nickel. Though rare in modern times, they still occur and are hugely valuable. Another fascinating aspect in the 2017 D cents is plating issues, such as improper plating, where the copper layer over the zinc core is thin, missing, or bubbled, exposing areas of gray zinc, which gives a unique look. In some cases, the plating blisters into raised bumps called gas bubbles, caused by trapped air during the plating process. And while minor bubbles are common, large or unusually placed ones can attract collector interest. Furthermore, some coins display repunched mint marks or RPMs, where the D mint mark was stamped more than once in slightly different positions before 1990, but in 2017 this effect can still occur due to overpolishing or retooling of dies, creating distortions in the mint mark shape. Many of these errors may sound subtle, but in the tight-knit world of error collectors they can mean the difference between face value and significant premiums. For instance, a pristine uncirculated 2017 D penny with a dramatic off-center strike or bold double die could fetch dozens of dollars or more at auction, and when combined with high-grade conditions graded by third-party services like PCGS or NGC, the value can skyrocket even higher. What makes the 2017 D particularly appealing is that it is modern enough that people often still find them in circulation, making it a treasure hunt accessible to anyone. You could be handed change at a store and unknowingly receive a coin worth far more than a cent, so the possibilities are intriguing. In addition, the 2017 D was part of a year with high mintage numbers, so the odds of finding one are higher, but that also means most are common and only the error coins stand out, hence learning to identify them is crucial. Collectors look for sharp strikes, unusual anomalies, and unique die states, using tools like magnifying glasses or USB microscopes to examine details. Some errors are so minute they can be missed by the naked eye, and yet those very tiny quirks can command premiums because they represent a tangible piece of minting history. The thrill of the hunt combined with the history and artistry behind the coin fuels interest, so when someone says a penny can be worth $65, they are not exaggerating if the coin possesses the right combination of rarity, error type, and condition. There is also the investment aspect where certain rare errors appreciate in value over time as more collectors seek them, especially when population reports show few examples graded in top conditions. This scarcity drives competition at auctions. So a sharp-eyed collector who identifies a valuable 2017 D error today could profit even more in the future. Beyond the tangible value, there is also the story. Each error coin is unique, a one-of-a-kind product of a momentary lapse in the otherwise precise minting process. Holding such a coin is like holding a snapshot of mint history frozen in metal, and that is part of the magic that keeps collectors hooked. So whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just starting out, checking your 2017 D pennies for these errors can be an exciting and potentially profitable activity. And remember, even common-looking coins can hide extraordinary secrets, so keep your eyes open and your change jar handy, because that next penny you pick up could be the one that turns into a surprising windfall. And as always, we'll keep bringing you these fascinating deep dives into coin history, rarity, and value, so stay tuned, keep searching, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible discoveries in the world of rare coins and hidden treasures.